Now, Belinda, you're an expert. You train everybody in Utah and around the world how to be square foot gardening certified, but for those who don't know what square foot gardening is, how would you sum up square foot gardening?
Okay, well, square foot gardening was actually created by a retired engineer and an efficiency expert. And his name is Mel Bartholomew. And basically square foot gardening is using raised beds or boxes. Your garden is very nice and tidy, very attractive. We use a whole new soil. We don't use any existing soil in your yard. And it condenses your garden down to 20% of the space that it would take of a normal garden, traditional garden plot. And it's really easy to take care of. We keep it close to the house, and it's very convenient. And the best thing of all, there's no weeding, no heavy digging, no tilling. You really just enjoy your gardening.
So I realize this sounds like, how can that be? Because we've all experienced it where when we were younger we had to do our bucket of weeds and we had to spend all summer out there weeding. It was, dare I say, almost torturous for most of us to garden. And that is why what I wanted to teach you for gardening is the easiest way to do it, which I have found to be square foot gardening. Because like Belinda said, there's little to no weeding because we're using new soil. The new soil is going to be perfect, right? It's a perfect composite for your vegetables. So instead of trying to cultivate your garden, which how long does it take really to cultivate your soil?
Well, Mel found out that it takes so much amendment to your original soil because there's rock, there's clay, and we have to add a lot of extra. It can get expensive to actually get soil where it needs to be for a vegetable garden, and it actually takes about 7 years to finally get it right, and then usually you move by then. So,
which is what we did. So many of you probably don't know, but I have moved over the last year, and the problem we had at our old house is we had tried everything. We tried building our own boxes, we tried cultivating the existing soil, we tried buying topsoil, and we also tried making Mel's Mix, and it still didn't work. And so if you're like me and you felt like you've tried this before, make sure you check the blog every week, because Belinda is going to be showing us how to be successful, how to set up everything correctly so that you could be a gardening pro this summer. Think of it, the envy of the neighborhood in just one summer. She's going to show us how to do it. Okay, so here we are at Belinda's very own garden to show you what a square foot garden actually looks like. So remember, this is March, so she doesn't have all of her plants planted yet. That'll be a separate video that we'll do, telling you which plants you can plant in the spring, through the summer, and also through the fall. Because believe it or not, in a place like Utah, we can have 9 months of gardening with the square foot gardening method.
Right. So what I wanted to do was use this little area that was lawn, and we laid weed cloth down over this entire area. These are 4x4 boxes. We have a number of these here. We have a 4x8, and we've got our soil, our special soil that's Mel's Mix. It's none of the existing soil from my yard. We've put aisles.
Hallelujah, because there's no weeds.
Yes. And we put aisles between our boxes, so we have plenty of space to maneuver and to kneel or whatever we need to do to tend to our boxes.
When you say square foot gardening, there's 3 major components to it, right? Maybe 4. You want the weed cloth. Don't go skimpy on the weed cloth. Your own soil, which we'll show you in another video how to mix your own soil, but if you don't want to do that, Belinda sells it. And boxes. So the boxes are 6 inches.
They're 6 inches, and there's one more component that you have to have, and that's the grid.
Oh yes.
That's really important. If you don't have a grid on your box, it's not a square foot garden. You're just gardening in a raised bed. So it's got to be permanent and prominent. And without that, you're not square foot gardening.
Now I wanted to key in on something that we talked a little bit about before, and that is that you didn't have a perfect spot in your yard for a garden.
That's correct.
And with square foot gardening, you don't. So tell me all the places you could theoretically put a square foot garden.
Well, my very first year, I decided to go for it, and I put a box right on my cement driveway.
There you go.
Because I wanted to see if this really works and to just go for the gusto, you know. So I did, and I had minimal success. It was my very first try at it. And I don't think I got the soil quite right my first time, but I did it on the cement and I was growing things. So, but not only on your driveway, your patio, your deck, right on your lawn. I mean, it's so versatile. You can even raise it waist high for, you know, people that have problems with their back or bending over, wheelchair height. It's really amazing how versatile it can be.
So you can really put it anywhere, a deck, your driveway, the lawn, a cement pad. So this is for everybody. If you ever felt like gardening wasn't for you, this is for you. Okay, so I wanted Belinda to give us a closer look at the box and actually how easy it is to garden. So first I wanted to ask you, what tools do you need to use a square foot garden? With a traditional garden, you need the shovel, you need the rake, you need the tiller, you know, you need all these big tools. What do you need for square foot gardening?
Well, believe it or not, these are the tools. And I keep a set of these in just about every one of my boxes. They're always there. You don't have to go searching for your tools and wonder where they are. They just tuck in right here in your box and you're ready to go. Our trowel we use, of course, to make our holes to put our transplants in. We also use this to add extra nutrients to our soil when we're transferring out of a plant and putting a new one in.
Because the whole idea with square foot gardening is that you're planting something and then harvesting it and then putting something else in.
Exactly. We have automatic crop rotation. And so all we need to do to replenish our nutrients is we just think about the square. I mean, anybody can handle that. It's not overwhelming, 1 12-inch square. So I'm just going to add a trowel full of compost to this square, mix it in, and now I'm ready to plant my new vegetable.
I like that you said that. Anybody can do this because you're just doing it 1 square at a time.
Right.
Don't think of it as this huge space.
We have our little pair of $1 school scissors, and these are so handy. We use them to clip off dead leaves or to actually harvest. We'll harvest and snip off a tomato, and these are really handy to have. But that's our tools.
Although this isn't really a lot of space, how many vegetables could you actually grow in a 4x4 square box?
You can actually grow over 100 vegetables in a 4x4 size, yes.
That is amazing.
It's because of our grid. We plant in groupings. We don't think about rows anymore. This is a different type of mindset for our garden.
It's an efficiency garden mindset.
Yes.
Remember, Mel himself was an engineer and an efficiency expert.